Let's talk about the key mechanics of Algethar Academy and some of the ways I address those with the Preservation Evoker toolkit. You can see my spells at the bottom right next to my meters, but please bear in mind I do make mistakes, and sometimes I'm showing you what not to do. At the entrance, I usually speak to the red Dragonflight recruiter for versatility, but you could choose a different stat if you prefer. Be careful using deep breath with these mobs. It's pretty easy to face pull if you're not careful. The aggravated skitterflies cast agitation, which is an enrage, and technically you could remove that with a pressing roar, but I don't usually run a pressing roar unless it's raging weak. For the Overgrown Ancient, I recommend setting him as your focus so that you can easily see his energy. Make sure that you're stacking up for Germinate and rotate around with the group. So this is going to make sure that all the ads spawn up nice and close and can be cleaved down. But make sure not to get hit by Germinate because it can one-shot you. So if you have to choose between getting hit and placing a ad somewhere bad, then just place the ad somewhere bad instead. When he casts Branch Out, he'll summon the healing ad, and also will place a bleed on everybody in your group. Before he casts Branch Out, you can use Stasis and then use 3 Cauterizing Flames on different people. Then when the cast comes out, use Stasis again, which will remove the bleed from 3 people, and then you can cauterize a 4th person and remove bleed from pretty much everybody. So it's going to reduce the healing requirement and also the need to stack into the green circle when the ancient branch dies, which before the nerf would usually overlap really badly with Germinate, but it's not so bad anymore. At 100 energy, the boss will cast Burst Forth, which will do big AoE damage and spawn all the lashes. You should pop a defensive for yourself or pop Zephyr for the group here, and make sure that nobody is really low before that damage comes out. Sometimes you'll get lucky and the Branch Out healing ad, you'll get that circle just before that damage comes out, and that circle will top up your party instead. Burst Forth also makes all the lashes spawn, and these are going to very quickly stack a poison dot up on your tank. Remember to dispel that, so you've got Naturalize you can use, which is on a low cooldown, but you can also remove it with Cauterize, so you can dispel quite a lot of your tank there. And you can also help them out by using Time Dilation, Tail Swipe, whatever else you need to. So then moving towards Vexamus, there are a few important trash mobs to be aware of. The Unruly Textbook will cast Monotonous Lecture and put someone to sleep, so you can kick that or dispel the sleep. The Spellbound Scepter casts Mystic Blast, which is AoE damage, and the Spellbound Battle Axe will put a bleed on your tank called Severing Slash, and you can remove that with Cauterizing Flame. Vexamus himself is reasonably easy. The biggest damage a group will take is when you're targeted with mana bombs. This is the blue arrow of your head that you want to move to the side because they drop a pull. I'll try and get Dream Breath onto my group before we spread. Otherwise, I'll echo the people that are targeted and then use Verdant Embrace to pick us back up. Be careful with the overlaps on the orbs. Try not to kill yourself, so remember to use a defensive. And also remember to move the mana bomb out of the way or you'll start to run out of space. The next biggest source of damage is from Arcane Fissure when he reaches 100 energy. Position yourself so that you don't get knocked back into pools here. And finally, you can dispel the Oversurge debuff when that's useful, enabling someone to soak a second orb and preventing these from hitting the boss. And this is usually easiest to do on yourself, but the other person who usually tries to get more than one is the tank. Crawth is reasonably challenging. Remember to stop casting when Deafening Screech comes out. If you do get silenced, you can still use Emerald Communion if you need it. Deafening Screech does more damage based on how many stacks he has, and these reset when your team uses the goals. As the damage ramps up, you can use Zephyr to mitigate it. Be careful of using Verdant Embrace on this boss. It's very easy to get yourself killed by moving through Cyclones or Swirlies, or by overlapping the damage from Deafening Screech. And Hover is also risky. Remember, you can echo someone and then Verdant Embrace yourself as a safer option. These cyclones can be a bit hard to see, especially when they're right underneath the boss. When the fire goal is used, Crawth takes 75% extra damage, so this is a really good time to squeeze in some DPS. Savage Pick will do a lot of damage to your tank and also give them a bleed. So this is where you'll likely want to use time dilation, and you can also cauterize that bleed off. On the home stretch now. So this Spectral Invoker here casts Arcane Missiles, which does a massive amount of damage to one target. So watch for kicks here if nobody else is getting them, and don't stand in the Whirlwind from the Echo Knights as well. You have a huge amount of disrupts that you can use, so remember to use them on these packs. You've got Wing Buffet, Tail Swipe, and Deep Breath, which if you've spec'd will stun. So that's 3 AoE disrupts, and I would use them all here. Then you're up to the Echo of Doragosa, whose main feature is that every ability that hits you will give you a stack of overwhelming power, and on 3 stacks you'll drop an Arcane Rift that shoots out orbs. So try to move that to the sides when you're up to your 3rd stack, and keep an eye on anybody who might be waiting for a Dispel at the sides of the room as well. It can be hard to tell how many stacks people are on unless you have your UI to show all debuffs even if they're not dispellable. But other than that, just try to dodge her Astral Breath. And that is Algethar Academy down. To recap, there are quite a few bleeds in this dungeon that you can cauterize. There's some heavy AoE damage to Zephyr, and a lot of damage while spread, which might require some clever use of Echo and Verdant Embrace. If you are wanting to improve your own play, I'd highly recommend recording yourself and watching the footage. You'll learn a lot about things you do well and also mistakes that you've made. Good luck, have fun!